may recall, I got to Emory in 1989. And when I got here, Alice and Eleanor Main and Sandy, what was Sandy's last name? Sandy Peacock. These senior moments are coming a lot more rapidly. Sandy Peacock were already established as the graduate school deanery. So I was able really to hit the ground running in terms of being able to do some of the things that I wanted to do as dean of the graduate school. And what I remember perhaps most about Alice is her, I started to say firm, probably fierce is a better word to use, conviction that the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences should do more than admit students and provide financial aid. Alice was fiercely convinced that the graduate school should be a key player in the intellectual life of the Emory community. And all of the kinds of things that she did, I think, were manifestations of that conviction and her commitment. So there are many of things on that list. I'm only going to mention three. Alice was a major player in the graduate school's decision to support the Martin Luther King Papers Project, which we did for a decade in collaboration with Professor Clay Carson at Stanford University. And as a result of that collaboration, some 2 or 3 volumes of the King Papers were actually published. And again, Alice's voice was the one that, as much as anything, convinced us that that was something as a graduate school that we needed to do. In a very similar vein, Alice was primarily responsible for the graduate school sponsorship of the Samuel Beckett Letters Project, a project that continues in the graduate school to this day. That was Alice's baby. She was the one who brought it to us. She was the one who convinced us that it was something that we should do, and she was right. And again, I think the fact that the project has continued to endure is an example of Alice's vision and the strength of her conviction. And last, but by no means least, there is tattoo, which was a dirty word 25 years ago. And Alice was not only involved, actually a major architect of the tattoo program. So she was not only involved in its conception, but she was also involved in its implementation. Alice and Eleanor had the primary responsibility for bringing the graduate faculty, sometimes kicking and screaming, on board with tattoo. But she was able to do that. She was able to do it successfully. And by all accounts, tattoo continues to survive and even to thrive. So again, we went against the current. Alice went against the current. But as in so many other instances, she was right. I won't say everybody else was wrong. I'll just say that Alice was right. So for your intellect, for your vision, for your commitment, for your loyalty, we did a lot of remarkable things in the graduate school, but we couldn't have done any of them without you.
Is this in case I start crying? That's good. I know I'm going to cry at some point. I'm Vinnie Murphy. So I was the artistic producing director of Theater Emory back in 1989. George and I arrived at the same time. And the big news that those of you certainly involved in the theater program know is that there would not be a theater program without Alice. So when I arrived, it was a very chaotic program. I was the 5th artistic producing director in 3 years when I got here. And I had a provost and a dean basically say to me, "What's up with those theater people?" They didn't say it exactly like that, but that was the spirit of what was going on. So I came into a program and went, okay, what's happening here? And they wanted to get rid of it, right? And there were very good reasons, I think, at that point to get rid of it. But it was Alice's vision. So I want to talk about that because we use that word a lot. And I want to particularly talk about vision and expediency, because you need both to be a good administrator, and Alice has both. But what Alice really had, and I've taught in universities for almost 40 years at this point, was a real vision and an ideal that she wanted for us to keep reaching for. So in my experience of what Theater Emory was able to do, it was Alice unblocking things and saying, why not, or yes, or go, or it doesn't matter, or I will back you up. Now, one of the ways that she did that is the next 3 principal administrators at Emory, terrific people. Jan Akers is going to run Theater Emory, Tim McDonough is going to chair the department, Leslie's doing the Creativity Center. Those hires were done on Alice's watch. And they were people, I was brought to Emory because Robert Brustein had recently got an honorary degree from Emory. He was one of the people that recommended me for the job. And when Bob was my mentor back in Boston, one of the most important things he said to me is, what you do if you're really quality is you hire A-level people. You hire people that you know are better than you. Right? And I think this is a big thing around how Theater Emory got created or where Theater Emory was able to go, because Alice wouldn't concede anything. It was like, why not that person? Right? And these 3 extraordinary people that are going to run these programs really were done on Alice's watch. People that we knew, and we went, yeah, I know there are lots of reasons why they might not take it. Let's go after them. Right? And I think this is out of Alice's vision that these things begin to happen. And then one student anecdote, remarkable student of many that we've had, Anna Bainey. She went on to journalism school at Columbia. So we had early, this is in the mid-90s, Steve Murray was our resident playwright at that point. We wanted to do the world premiere of a Steve Murray play, but we were also going to bring in a company from Canada as part of the Cultural Olympics going on. So Anna had done a wonderful audition for the Steve Murray play, and she was going to get cast in the female lead. So you get to do this female lead, you get all of that press stuff, you know, all of the goodies of that stuff. But at the same time, this developmental company was going to come in from Vancouver, and they were asking for writers and for actors. And Anna wanted to be both. So she came to me after she did the audition. I said, you know, you gave the best audition. You're the person we're going to cast. And she said, yeah, but you have this other project. Is there any way I could be considered for that? I said, yeah, you could be considered for that. And she was suffering about it, and I said, go talk to Alice. So Anna, who then went on to do that project, became a wonderful journalist. And just as another quick anecdote, because this came up the other day, wrote a huge article in the New York Times about India theater that I read, got so enamored of, I created an Indian festival. We did 8 plays out of contemporary India. And Michael just mentioned the other day, one of the playwrights, who his new favorite playwright, was in residence with us because of Anna going and discovering him. And I think, again, all of that can be traced back to what Alice was doing in terms of her advocacy. We did many festivals, so a big idea for me when I was doing the artistic producing, directing, was trying to do festivals. So we had Athol Fugard here for 5 weeks. Right, and I went, I don't know how to do that. Right, here's a major player, nominated for the Nobel in both peace and literature. He's got a voice that I think would speak to the city. Can we get him here? Alice said, we'll make it happen. Right, so that there were ways that we were able to unblock things and get other departments involved that Alice unblocked as we went through. We built an Elizabethan playhouse. Right, Alice and Tim teach this remarkable class, Shakespeare in Performance. And I had directed Shakespeare at different festivals around the country, and you know, I sat in on Tim and Alice's class sometimes, and I kept thinking, why is it that theater companies are getting so trivial about it, or what they keep talking about? The question that was being asked to me is, you know, when's the intermission going to be, and how many cuts are you going to make, and you know, what merchandise should we sell? And I went, wait, can we talk about the play? Alice wanted to talk about the play, so we built an Elizabethan playhouse, programmed it for 3 years, partly with Alice's guidance, got National Public Radio to do a 9-minute special on us, a national special on us, the New York Times to write about it. It was a remarkable event. Couldn't have happened without Alice Benston. And then finally, as some of you know, we did a no play on the quad. Right? About 12 years or so ago, we built a no stage because Alice, of course, part of her family is understanding of this tradition, so Alice was understanding of this tradition, and we went, this sounds like a big kind of crazy idea that our students are going to be involved with this no master from Japan, and we're going to do this thing. Again, we did this thing, and it wouldn't have happened without Alice. I want to talk a little bit about some of the students. So under Alice's watch, and of course there's many watches here, but I really contribute this to Alice's vision in terms of what she was doing as a chair, is that at one point, the students that came through on Alice's watch, we had 5 students in the Yale Drama Program at the same time. At the same time, there were students at NYU, the University of Texas, Columbia, Stanford. There were 4 companies launched from the students that were guided under Alice's watch, including the Synchronicity Theater Company, which I think is one of the strongest companies in the city, and the Out of Hand Company, which was created by my daughter and some of the alums. And then group things. So there was a group that was created in New York. They also went on to perform at the Fringe Festival in Scotland, and then came back right after 9/11, within days after 9/11, and were doing pieces responding to the tragedy that was going on. A group that coalesced, alums that coalesced, again, trained by Alice and the faculty in terms of what it's like to take theater and the ideas learned from theater studies and actually move them into performance and solving stuff. And then finally, there were many things that Alice helped us create on her watch. Dramaturgy was a very, very important part of what we did. So Alice comes to me at one point right in the building of the Black Rose, so we have this Elizabethan playhouse up for 3 years, and she says, I want to do a piece called Shakespeare's Fools. I went, okay, that sounds interesting, so what material do you want to choose? What does Alice say? All of it. I want to do all of it. So we went, okay. Yeah, so this is going to take 30 actors, 4 dramaturgs, 6 directors, 3 students, 3 professionals, you know, and an insane kind of scheduling that only someone like Robert Schultz could actually pull off.